Honestly, Todd, you're going to have to come up with a new title and a new book because we're not overrun any longer. Todd, welcome to the program. Todd is the premier expert on the southern border invasion.
Right. We've seen the numbers drop from the last month Biden administration by 2/3 just through January. And now it's down by another 2/3 to, for February, 8,326 illegal crossings that of apprehensions. All of those people have been detained and expelled or are being expelled right now. None of them are being released. That number, according to Mike Banks, the new chief of Border Patrol, is the lowest number in U.S. recorded history. Just to give you an idea, 8,000 may sound like a lot to the uninitiated, but in December of 2023, which was the height of the whole thing, if you include the parolees that they were letting fly in and cross in over the land ports, plus illegal immigrants, it was close to 400,000. So that's the night and day. I mean, that's a kind of a norm, an unbelievable norm, 8,000. I hope that they can maintain that. If they do, we'll have the lowest year of illegal immigration on record.
How many people a day on average under Biden? It was almost sometimes 5,000 to 10,000 a day. Is that correct?
That's right. The typical day was 7,000 to 8,000 a day, but that ranged up to 14,000 a day. Very often we had 9, 10, 12,000 a day. It was just an absolute torrent of humanity. And the reason is simply, I know you know this, but we were releasing most of them into the interior. And once word of that spreads, they're willing to lay down their smuggling fee money and gamble that they're going to get in too. All that was ever necessary here. We didn't need some big Senate bill. The Langford Senate bill, right. Remember all the Harris campaign root causes. We have to fix the root causes of immigration. We've got to do a Marshall Plan in Central America. We have to have comprehensive immigration reform that's going to take years and complex bipartisan deals and all that kind of stuff. No, all that was ever needed was a push of a button, which is follow the law as it exists. Detention, expulsion, deportation proceedings, no catch and release. That's all that was ever needed. It took all of 1 hour on Inauguration Day to close the southern border, or to get it as close to operationally secure as I think we can ever really hope to get it. The operational secure border is 0. So if you just have 200 or 300 a day coming in, I mean, that's pretty good. Take it. That's a win. The issue there is that we let America think that there was some big complicated thing going on, that we're just victims. We have to just curl up in a fetal position and take the beating because that's just the way the world is. It never was that. It never was that. All that was ever needed was detention, deportation, expulsion, no catch and release, period. End of story. It's over. Now, having said that, we can't let off the gas because, Trump, the policies that he's put in place, those policies which are in line with the law requires those things, have to be maintained rigorously. You can't make exceptions. It has to be evenly applied border length or the duration, or they will reverse. It will come back. But right now, you're seeing reverse migration. You're seeing in the Darien Gap, which I visited in August, there are thousands of people all around me moving toward moving north in the transition period when Biden was still in office. They're reversing. They're going back the other way. Thousands moving from Mexico back through Panama and then back around to Colombia and going home to supposedly very dangerous countries that we had to give them refuge from, sanctuary and asylum from. They're returning to those countries in large numbers. So this is really extraordinary. I want to say one other thing, that We're not done. The Trump administration is just at the beginning. They have to hermetically close that border. They got to stop the bleeding first. Then they've got a big cleanup in the interior. We have 10, 12 million. Nobody really knows how many came in over the last 4 years. And that's where the Trump administration is gearing up an infrastructure right now. And then there's the cartels. That's part of the policy, and fentanyl trafficking. So the whole three-part program isn't over yet. It's just that the first part, the most important part maybe, is that the blood is stopped. The big change was to bring the Mexican military on board. They used that 25% trade tariff cudgel sledgehammer. If you don't put out down there in Mexico, we're gonna put your economy in recession inside of a month or two with these trade tariffs. So they put out 10,000 troops that are turning anybody that they catch back down into southern Mexico, and even doing their own deportations from southern Mexico to home countries. That the Trump administration did that in 1.0, but they did it much later in the administration. Now they did it first. So that was huge. And the other thing is that we're using something called 212F, which is an instant expulsion authority that's clearly spelled out in current law, the INA 212F. Go Google it, look it up. There's been some litigation with it, but it allows the president to instantly expel all comers without providing asylum. Now, they expected there'd be some litigation, so they put in behind it, remain in Mexico, which also allows quick expulsions. You can claim asylum, but you have to wait in Mexico. You don't get released. That's the big thing. That has been vetted all the way to the Supreme Court from Trump 1.0. So that's ready to go too. They've got multi-layered architecture in there. They put far more military personnel down there for spotting, to be able to fill gaps and to be in places where Border Patrol isn't. And that's making an impact. But another big impact is the fact that since they're not releasing everybody that comes to the border, they don't need Border Patrol to process them in. So they're out there catching illegal immigrants and detaining them instead of doing babysitting and providing baby formula and food and water while they process people into the interior. Everything's different than the first time. They definitely learned a lot from 1.0 on how to shut that border down.